So it's all done, but I think they forgot one of their tools. Good morning and welcome to the channel. We are headed down to SPS Autosport again. We're actually going to go over his website because getting ready to publish it. I need to get a couple of things tweaked with my XKGlow lighting. So I'll probably show you guys some of that today in this vlog. So stay tuned. Alright, here's the overpass for all of you. Driving down to SPS Autosport, soon to be named Harrison Performance and Tuning, which I think is a pretty cool name. So it's Richard Harrison, and he's had this company down there for a while. He's the one that installed my Armytrix exhaust. If you have not seen that video, you can click there. Yeah, right about there. Click up there and check out that video of me installing the Armytrix exhaust system. So a little update really quickly on the Armytrix exhaust system. I'm absolutely loving the sound of it, the performance of it. I love being able to let it wide open or completely quiet it down like I have right now for this video, because quite frankly, you know, I wanted you to be able to hear me and not just my exhaust. To give you an example of that, so this is the little key fob remote that they give you. They give you two of these. Right now it's off. If I were to turn it on, it would open it up, and you can certainly probably hear in the microphone there that the exhaust is a little bit louder, and then I can go ahead and just turn it off and it's going to close those valves down, and it completely, you know, quiets it down quite a bit. It still sounds good, and that was one of the big differences that I really like when comparing it directly to the stock valve system that GM installed. Theirs is done electronically, and when you put it into stealth mode on the stock exhaust, it really sounds like you're driving a regular sedan or a four-cylinder engine. It cuts it off, the exhaust sound off so much that it's cool because you can be completely quiet, but it's quite embarrassing because it really sounds like you've got a wannabe Corvette that you're driving. Obviously only use it in certain scenarios where I really want it to be quiet. One of my favorite places to use a quiet mode on exhaust is when I go through a drive-through, because when I have the exhaust open and I try to go through a drive-through, they literally tell me, I can't hear you, it's so loud, I can't hear what you're saying, and I can't order anything. I love being able to just quiet down the exhaust, but with the Armytrix, even in the off mode, it still has a little bit of a rumble. It still has a good quality sound. It's just very, very muted. So that's my take on the whole Valvetronic system. Great system. The one thing that I'm a little bit disappointed in is that it is a mechanical system. It works off of a vacuum pressure, and it can't tie into the OEM interface for turning it on and on. They do give us plenty of options to, you know, be able to control it from the key fob remote, or there is a mobile app, of which for my iPhone I have yet to be able to get it to connect. I don't know if it's a situation because I have a beta version of iOS running on my iPhone 10. That could be the issue, but I have not been able to get the Armytrix app to connect via Bluetooth to the Armytrix module that's right down here by my knee. I did use my Samsung Galaxy S8 and I connected without an issue. So I know all you iPhone haters out there are going to tell me exactly why I have a problem with my iPhone. That's just simply because it's an iPhone and not an Android. I get it. But in this scenario, it's very rare. I tend to not have any issues with my iPhone connecting to things via Bluetooth. So there you have it. Reached out to Armytrix, have not heard back from them yet on that, so hopefully they'll get me a resolution for that pretty soon. So back to Harrison Performance and Tuning. So I've been helping Richard set up his brand new website. As I'm showing you right here, it's coming together very nicely, showcasing some of his cars, but he's going to be selling aftermarket auto parts directly from his website at a much more competitive price than some of the mainstream big name companies are doing it for. And his service and deliverability and time frame is going to be really top notch. So I highly encourage everybody to go to harrisonperformance.com as soon as the website is launched. Not launched yet, still working on finishing it up. In fact, I'm driving down there to SPS Autosport to not only get a couple of things tweaked with my car, but the primary reason for my meeting with him is to go over his new website, which I know you guys really, don't care about that much, but Harrison Performance and Tuning new website is coming very soon. I think you guys are really going to like it. Let's talk really briefly about affording a supercar or a sports car. I don't care whether it's, a $60,000 car or a $200,000 car. I got into a little bit of a debate yesterday on social media with a guy who told me, quite frankly, it was stupid to finance a sports car like mine, because people were just posting, their favorite sports cars and whether they owned them now or they wanted to own them. And he was saying that everybody should post their monthly payments along with it, because all those pictures were just debt machines because they were a depreciating asset, which I do agree. A vehicle most of the time is a depreciating asset, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And there was a reason why I personally, even though I could have bought this car when I bought it used, I paid $82,000 cash. I could have paid $82,000 cash for it, but there was a reason why I went and financed $50,000 of it instead of just dropping all $82,000 in cash in it. So I want to hear from you guys in terms of what your thoughts are in regards to financing a vehicle purchase, whether it's $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 versus paying cash for it if you had the cash for it. Now, I personally, like I stated, I could have paid $82,000 cash for it, but I chose not to. I went to my local credit union and got a very, very competitive rate. I was able to get a 1.99% APR, and I did a 4-year financing. So it made my payment a little bit high, but it was, what I could afford, and I wanted to pay it off in 4 years, that $50,000. So here's my logic and reasoning why I did the $50,000 in financing and not pay for it all in cash. The reason is because I wanted to leverage somebody else's money for the purchase of this vehicle, the large portion of this vehicle. To me, purchasing this vehicle had more meaning than just making a good financial decision, because in all honesty, it wasn't, when you're comparing good financial decisions, it certainly wasn't up there at the top of the list of this is a great financial decision for your life in terms of purchasing a Corvette Z06. My primary reason for purchasing was purely out of the fact that it was my childhood dream car. It was a car that I had worked hard to be able to afford and get into a position in my life with other priorities, with family, and taking care of them and making sure my wife is good and she doesn't have to work, and just getting all those things lined up before I made a purchase like this. So it certainly was a luxury purchase. So I couldn't sit there and argue that it was a good financial decision, but I wanted to minimize the financial impact that it was going to have on our overall portfolio financially. So my choice was to get a good APR financing on $50,000 of the $82,000 that I paid for the car. And by doing so, I freed up $50,000 in cash that I would have otherwise just sunk into this car, and it would have been stuck in this car for however long I own this car. And of course, if I own it long enough to where it's less than $50,000, which right now, fair resale, private party sell, I could sell this car probably between $75,000 and $76,000, especially with some of the things that I've done to the vehicle that are very tasteful. And other people, I had a guy actually offer me $75,000 cash the other day for it, and I turned him down just because I like this car. I'm still doing stuff to it, and I wasn't just going to give it up that quickly. But the point that I was trying to make there is the fact that had I sunk all the cash into it, it would have been stuck inside this vehicle. I couldn't do anything with that cash. And I don't mean being able to spend it, I mean being able to put my money to work for me. I love putting money to work. Let money go to work for you, don't let money work you. So I took that $50,000 and put it into various diversified investment. I do some, cryptocurrency, I do Forex trading, I do some online marketing investment opportunities. So there's various things that I do with that money. But in the past year and a half or so, that money has now appreciated about $16,000 some, which which is way more than the 1.99% APR that I'm paying for the financing of the $50,000 of the cars. So that was my reasoning as to why I didn't pay cash for this vehicle, and that was kind of my stance on social media yesterday as well. If you want to look at that thread, I will link to that thread here in the description of this video, and you can go check that out. I get a lot of people asking me, how do you afford a vehicle like that? And I remember very vividly, before I owned this car, is how in the world do people afford, unless they're just, you know, crazy wealthy and have money to burn, afford vehicles when you're still younger, not waiting until you're retired or in your 60s or 70s before you end up purchasing a vehicle like this. And the answer is really, there's many ways to answer that, and what it came down to is there's no one way to be able to get yourself into the vehicle or the dream car that you aspire to get into. But I can tell you that the smartest way to do it is put other people first, put other priorities first, and the rewards that you're seeking will come to you. When I was going after just myself and trying to achieve stuff just for myself and putting myself first all the time, I didn't achieve as much. It wasn't until I started putting other people first and helping other people meet their goals and achieve their dreams that I started very rapidly achieving some of my dreams that I had and my goals that I'd had for quite a while. So I know that sounds a little bit cliche and, you know, not completely solid, but it's the reality of it, and that's a focus that I want to encourage everybody watching this video to focus on, is put other people first, and what you want and what you hope for will come back to you. That doesn't mean you don't go after your own dreams. So what I mean by that is that you're going to prioritize other people, but don't let other people run you into the ground. Just make sure that your priorities are set straight. You've got the people that depend on you taken care of, and then you go take care of yourself, and you're going to find success a lot faster. From a monetary standpoint, like I'd mentioned before, I only put $32,000 roughly in cash into this vehicle, which gave me a very manageable monthly car payment for 4 years. And so in about 2 years and a few months, this car will be 100% paid for, and I'll still have plenty of equity in it because I did put some cash down. That was one thing that I did want to do, is make sure that I wasn't starting out upside down in this vehicle. The other way that I was able to do it is because I did buy it used. So there's a Facebook group that I'm a member of called Exotic Car Hacks, and I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can check that out. But that is a great group, and we're just a group of guys and a few ladies in there that all discuss how to get into an exotic car, into a sports car, into a supercar, or car or SUV of your dreams without going broke. And a lot of us are even able to get into vehicles for a few months and then get out of them and break even, and some even walk away with making some on it. But you got to be really dedicated and aggressive with it. But it is absolutely possible. And the information in there is really invaluable, from how to finance your car to where to get financing. And the last thing that I'll mention here is credit. When you go to get financing, in order to get a 1.99% APR, you can't go in there with a 550 credit score. You're not even going to get financed if you have a 550 credit score for this type of vehicle, quite frankly. So that would be my other thing that I would tell you guys to really focus on, is make sure you get your credit in order. If you've got a really bad credit score right now, just go get it taken care of. There's a company called Lexington Law Firm that I've used in the past. I used to, just to give you guys a little inspiration here, 7 years ago, I had a 488 credit score. That was bad. 488 credit score. And I'm embarrassed to even admit that, but I did. I had a 488 credit score, and with a little bit of time and a little bit of work, I was able to improve that credit score, and now I'm just shy of 800. So anything is possible. Don't be discouraged. You guys can go out there and achieve your dreams. We have arrived, and look at what's sitting right there. There is a Maclaren, probably looks like a 570, and over here we have got GTRs on GTRs right there. There's a SEMA Mermaid one right there. We're gonna check that out. So there are some pretty cool cars here today. So take a look at this. Anybody want a GTR? So this right here, this is the Mermaid GTR from the SEMA show. They called it the Mermaid because, as you can see, it's got a pretty sick wrap on it. Boost Logic exhaust. That is pretty mean. Look at that diffuser on there. So this was the car at the SEMA show that I saw up there last year at the SEMA show. But there's a few GTRs. But check this out. This is not something you see every day in Tucson for sure. This is a 570S. Maclaren 570S. That is a very sweet color too. I like that. I've not seen one grayish silver and black like this. That's really cool combination. Really pretty color on top of there. What's up?
How you doing?
Good, man. Staying busy?
Yeah.
You got a few GTRs out there.
Just a couple. Yeah. That's not all of them too. I mean, we delivered probably 4 of them in the last couple of
Really?
weeks. So.
Well, like, what's the main thing you're doing on the GTRs?
I mean, it's anywhere from bolt-ons to full builds.
Oh, okay.
And tuning, and so any number of things.
Yeah.
So people want anywhere between wheels and tires to tunes.
Yeah.
Downpipes. Return them back to stock because they're gonna buy McLarens, stuff like that.
Yeah, I see the McLaren. What are you doing with the McLaren out there?
AWE exhaust and a GT wing.
A GT wing. Yeah. Nice.
Big carbon fiber wing right there.
Oh, is that it right there? Oh yeah.
Which I actually like that because if you look at the back, it's very bubbly.
It is. It is a little bubbly right there.
And with that, it kind of it flattens it out a little bit because it goes from fender to fender.
Right.
I think that's going to make it look really good. Just makes it look a little bit different.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, man.
A little adapter piece for that coolant line in the back, then fill it with coolant.
Oh man, yeah, they did.
Here, all of this right here, they were brand new. You can see where it spun on the machine.
Yeah.
Right? It cracked its carbon down here.
Somebody doing it. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. See all this
Yeah.
I mean, it was brand new. The wheels are brand new. That's what makes me upset.
Weren't you selling this?
I'm still selling it.
Oh, you are still selling it.
I'm putting a bigger turbo kit and some other stuff on it.
Just for the fun of it, or?
Up to value. Or make it a little bit more fun while I still have it.
Replacing out this camera right here. That's an aftermarket camera that I had Richard install, and it's never really worked in a year and a half.
It's disconnected.
It's disconnected?
I traced the wire and it came disconnected at one point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reconnect it.
And see if it works?
I'm going to put heat shrink over it.
Okay.
And then shrink it so it'll keep it from sliding out. And it's better than like electrical tape because here with the heat, I hate electrical tape in Arizona.
Yeah.
You got to peel it off and it has that
so
sticky
nasty
residue everywhere.
So you think the camera that's already in there will work?
I'm gonna test it, make sure it works.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna test it before I pull it out because if it still works,
I would like to rather use that one because that one swivels.
Right. Yeah. You can move
the other one doesn't.
No, this is the fixed one.
Yeah, because they don't make that swivel one anymore. It is. It worked. He fixed it. Richard, he told me it was broken, and I went a full year without it. This man deserves a raise, or at least employee parking or something. See, because this one, I don't know if you can see that, but it swivels, and I can actually point it to where I want it, and the replacement was not going to swivel, but that way I can see how close I am to the front. I think we might need to adjust that. A little more down and to the left. For the few days that it actually worked, I think I remember just kind of visually knowing that I had about 6 inches left. So it's all done, but I think they forgot one of their tools. I'm gonna have to take it back and have them fix this. If you like today's videos, please give it a big thumbs up. I'm actually here at my office now. Yes, I do have an office outside of my home. I come here, it's a focus place. I've got a studio set up for my video shoots. I do a lot of online educational and marketing. That's another way that I can afford to have nice vehicles. So let me know what you think of this video. Place your comments down below. Let me hear what you guys thought of today's video. I know it was a little bit different because I was talking from a little bit more of a, you know, passionate side of how I can afford videos and going after what you want in life. But hopefully you got some value out of it and enjoyed the content. And until next time, subscribe, like, share. I appreciate you guys all. Bye for now.